This video will review the purpose of and how to complete the final placement evaluation. You may want to review the video on performance rating standards to support your completion of this evaluation form. During the last week of placement, students and preceptors will set aside time to complete and discuss this form. The final placement evaluation lists the competencies and performance indicators specific to the placement. A similar version of this form and process is used for placements in nutrition care, population health, food service management, and for the practice-based project and research. All final placement evaluations contain the performance indicators related to professional practice and communication and collaboration. The intent of this form is for the student to reflect and document their learning activities and experiences in the placement, for the student to document their level of performance at the end of the placement across the performance indicators, and for the preceptor to reflect on and document the student's level of performance, focusing on their level of performance at the end of the placement across the performance indicators. It is expected that students will show growth and improved skill from beginning to the end of the placement. To complete the evaluation form, students, you will complete the student rating and evidence portion of the evaluation. This is a long form. Spend a few minutes each day journaling what you've learned. Add this to your evaluation forms regularly. Do not leave this until the last minute. In the evidence column, document specific examples of activities and experiences you had that support your performance rating. If you do not document your experience, then it didn't happen. The evidence should be concisely presented in a bullet or two. When you are documenting your evidence statements, consider that one practice activity can involve the application of several competencies and performance indicators, and could therefore be used as evidence across multiple performance indicators. For example, conducting a nutrition assessment requires the application of several nutrition care performance indicators, as well as those in the professional practice and communication and collaboration domains. When you're reflecting back on your performance and placement experience, consider all the potential competencies that you may have met through the placement activities. For example, by completing a project in a population health placement, you may have also met several performance indicators in the management domain. At the end of the evaluation form, there is a section where you can add additional performance indicators, along with your performance rating and evidence. Reflect on your performance in the placement, focusing on the last week of placement, and complete the student rating column using the performance rating standards. Acknowledge the contribution made by your preceptor to your learning in the student comment box. The student will submit the partially completed final placement evaluation form to the preceptor in the last week of placement or at a mutually agreed to time. The preceptor completes the evaluation by reviewing the evidence documented by the student. When applicable, the preceptor can advise the student regarding alternative or additional evidence to support the evidence for the performance rating. The preceptor will complete the preceptor rating column using the performance rating standards and considering the level of the student's performance at the end of the placement. Preceptors may also document comments in the preceptor comments box located at the end of each competency section and at the end of the evaluation. Comments are desired, but not required. When filling out the form, consider that the Ryerson website has a resource that outlines several examples of practice activities that could be used to address each performance indicator. You can find this document when you search for Ryerson ICDEP Guide. Students and preceptors can type the letter corresponding to the performance level rating in the corresponding performance rating box to document their evaluation. E for exposure, S for supervision, M for minimal supervision, C for competent, and NA means not applicable to this placement. Set aside some time in the last week to come together and discuss the completed final placement evaluation. Students, before you meet with your preceptor, reflect on the level of your performance in the placement. Where have you demonstrated improvement? What are your learning priorities moving forward to the next placement? Preceptors, discuss the completed form with the student. This is an opportunity for you to highlight the student's strengths and to identify specific steps for them to continue to improve their performance. Once the forum and discussion are complete, the final placement evaluation form should be signed by the student and preceptor. By checking the response box at the end of the form, you are verifying the information is true and correct. The checked response box is accepted as a replacement of a handwritten signature. The signed and completed form is emailed to the Dietetic Education Coordinator. This can be done by either the student or preceptor. Please ensure to include everyone on the email, that is the student, the preceptor, and the Dietetic Education Coordinator, so that everyone has a copy. The student will upload the completed final placement evaluation form to their OWL Dropbox. The Dietetic Education Coordinator will review the final placement evaluation form. Any concerns will be directly addressed with the student and/or the preceptor. The Education Coordinator is looking for trends in your performance evaluations that indicate you are improving your dietetic skills over time and meeting all the performance indicators through your placement activities. In order to meet the program and registration requirements, students need to demonstrate competence across all performance indicators. That is to say, they need a C rating on every item. Each placement context is different, so having a C rating in the same indicators across multiple placements is important to demonstrate your overall readiness for dietetics practice. Preceptors and students are invited to contact the Dietetic Education Coordinator to discuss the evaluation findings, or at any point during the placement to discuss the evaluation process or performance concerns.